Porter right now finds himself on the bottom of the pecking order, but he's not terribly far back. 261.95 his score coming into what will be the first dive of the night.
Awards.
Very nice entry.
6.5,
Super clean.
6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5.
Solid 6.5 across the board.
The University of Connecticut, Kyle Kennedy, 51.34D, 2.6.
5134D for our next diver, Kyle Kennedy. 1.5 somersault, 2 twist.
A little pushed out from the board. His feet came apart slightly.
6.0, 6.5.
He did a little bit better in warm-up, so I don't know. 6s and a 6.5 across the board, so I think he's happy with that.
403B, 2.4.
All right, next up, Gavrilo Blyden of East Carolina. Inward 1.5 somersault pike.
Beautiful.
Really clean on the entry.
Awards.
I'll get a nice score for that rip.
6, 5.5, 6.5.
43.2 for Blyden.
From ECU, Devin Nugent, 105B, 2.6.
With such nice clean lines. Oh, point. We'll get him. Another point.
Here comes Devin Nugent from East Carolina. Forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Very nice.
Awards.
2.5 somersaults off a 1 meter board is awfully tough. Those 7s in particular, really good scores.
From FSMU, Dominic
He squeezed so well on the
105B,
entry.
2.6.
That's why you saw that rip just there at the end.
Dominic Hofer of Southern Methodist. Forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Big cheers for him. Must have some family here in the audience.
And he gets a huge score, 57.2.
That'll be our leading mark.
So far, for sure. Well done. All right, here is your defending champion from SMU, Parker Hardigree. Parker's ready to go. Forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.6.
Great hurdle. Wow. Look at the height on that. That'll be our lead. You can see why. Super clean, beautiful hurdle. The height that he had. Just so pretty.
59.8. Terrific. One more look at it.
I mean, the room for improvement is so small. It's just a tight, little bit more of a toe point here, or squeezing your shoulders just a little more there, but that was beautiful.
From Peter Smithson now of SMU. Forward 1.5 somersault, 2 twist. Holy moly.
Wow, that was pretty.
Awards 7, 6.5,
53.3.
7.
Really well done.
From ECU, Rodrigo Romero, 105B, 2.6.
All right, so it brings us to our leader from this morning, and that was Rodrigo Romero of East Carolina. He'll get us rolling with dive 105B, 2.5 somersault pike.
Wow. Very, very nice top of the dive. If he could have just ripped that bottom a tiny bit more, I think we would have seen another 8 on that board.
58.5. He's off to a great start.
Beginning our second round.
He's somebody Coach Jab spoke very highly of and said that Coach Jesse, their diving coach, has helped him adapt a whole lot. He performed really well early on in the season, so looking to have another personal best today.
Dylan Porter, 2.5 somersault tuck. Okay. Nice round of applause from the Bearcat faithful. He gets a good score, 50.4.
Kennedy, 105.
Clean tuck. A lot of times a tuck dive will not score as highly as a pike just because it's not quite as pretty. But when you have the perfect form, in which you saw there, you can score sevens.
Time for Kyle of UConn. 2.5 somersault pike. What you think?
Again, a little pushed back for him. I think he's having trouble finding the right. At the end of the board, he was leaning over just a little bit, which pushed him out. I think if he just cleans up his hurdle a little bit, and he got another point to add.
Gavrilo now back at it. This is a tough one. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck.
Well, you could see where he started on the board, that it was a tough one for him. He wanted to make sure that hurdle was completely controlled, which it was. Clean up the entry. Again, he has a little bit room for improvement, but really, really nice top of the dive.
ECU with Devin Nugent back competing. Backward 1.5 somersault pike on the way.
Clean dive. Obviously a dive that he's comfortable with.
6.5, 6.5.
It's fun to watch, and I'm curious as somebody, as a former diver, you can usually watch and I can look and see kind of what dive's coming, so I know whether or not it's a dive that might be a little risky for some of these guys, but
sure.
For you, not knowing what's coming, I always wonder, can you tell if it's a dive that they're comfortable with or one that
I have a hard time picking it out. I have a hard time picking it out.
That's good. That's good for
well,
them.
and I think it's absolutely good for them.
Awards.
That entry was really perfect.
That's about as good as he could have done there.
Vertical on the head, yeah.
203B, 2.3.
Yeah, that's great.
There's about no splash there.
That's what you want.
That's right. Backward 1.5 somersault pike coming for Parker here. Terrific.
Good dive, a little pushed back, and maybe because I'm comparing it to the one before, and that's the hard part about this. If you're doing the same dive as somebody right before you, you're being compared essentially to the person right before you, right after you. Really nice dive if it would have been standalone, but not quite up to his teammates.
Peter Smithson now of SMU. Degree difficulty 2.6, 2.5 somersault pike.
Oh, that was a beautiful top. Oh, wow. That was a gorgeous dive. That got me excited.
Our reigning champion's got some serious competition.
8.5, 7.5, 8. Romero, 203B, 2.3.
That's exactly how you do it. Well done.
Just a freshman. You see his score coming in, 323. They're expecting big things from him over the next 4 years.
Rodrigo Romero, East Carolina, backward 1.5 somersault pike. Graceful.
Really graceful. Again, you can tell it's a dive he's comfortable with.
6.5, 6.5.
Take off straight above. Really pretty entry. Could probably point his toes just a tiny bit more right on the entry, but actually no, I take that back. That was pretty good.
All right, starting our third round here. Forward 1.5 somersault, 2 twist. Oh man.
Awards. 6.5, 7.5, 7.5.
That's a big dive for 1 meter.
6.
Nice scores. 7.5.
Kennedy, 303B,
6.5, 6.5.
2.4.
Yeah, he pulled that one out really well. Twisters are super, double twister on a 1 meter. It's all about timing. His timing was beautiful.
Kyle Kennedy from UConn. Let's see what he scores.
5.5,
39.6, not his best.
He's still struggling a little bit with the consistency on his hurdle. He hasn't quite found comfortably the end of the board, I think, the way he wants.
Gavrilo back at it, 2.5 somersault pike, 2.6. Really, really good.
Awards a 6-6-6.
He's very, very comfortable acrobatically. You can tell by the way he spins. His top of his dive, extremely fast spin. I think where his points of weakness and emphasis of where he can improve again, right at the beginning in his start and his hurdle, and right at the end of his dive. But top have all been beautiful for him.
Top notch. Devin Nugent.
Wow. He was a bit back on the board in his hurdle on that, but managed to pull that out beautifully.
7, 6
Great
and a half,
control.
6 and a half, 7, 7.
He was awarded with a 49.2.
Hayford, 303B.
Yeah, he held on. That was really, really impressive control on that dive.
Dominic from SMU. Reverse 1.5 somersault pike.
Nice start to the dive, but came out a little bit early.
5, 5 and a half, 5, 5, 5.
Fives across, except for 1, 5.5.
305C 3.0.
Back to Parker. Parker sitting on 109.25 so far. A good bit behind the lead, needs a good one.
Nice control.
55.5. That's a good score.
Took off a little bit to the side of the board, but maintained control, managed to keep that from rotating.
All right.
Let's see what the freshman
Peter
can do.
Smithson. Backward 2.5 somersault tuck, 3.0.
Wow. There are some big things coming his way. That's a really hard dive to do.
Especially on a 1 meter board, no doubt.
Yeah, he's got some big things coming his way. Obviously, he can clean up the entry, but that's a big dive for a freshman coming in.
Okay, Rodrigo Romero now. Freshman from East Carolina. Reverse 1.5 somersault pike, 2.4. Outstanding.
Very, very low degree of difficulty, but when you execute it that well, you get a score like that. Like he got 9s, 8.5s. Wow.
61.2.
That's exactly what you want. If you're gonna do a dive with a lower degree of difficulty, you've got to execute it perfectly, and he did.
And explain to the folks at home who might not be familiar with the scoring and how the degree of difficulty is the multiplier.
Sure. I mean, ideally, it's so for myself when I dove, I wanted to dive clean. So I would have, my coach actually wanted me to dive clean. I wanted to go after the hard dives, but I couldn't nail them. They were sloppy, they were messy. My scores on the hard dives, because the degree of difficulty was higher, but my scores were lower, my overall score just wasn't a match. But if I could do 7s, 8s on easy dives, the multiplier, despite being lower, my scores were higher because I could get higher scores on those easier dives. So it's just one of those things that you're constantly battling yourself, going back and forth with, saying, all right, what do I do? Do I really want to go after this? Can I attack it? Can I be consistent? Or should I play it safe and get a high score doing what I know works? That dive worked for him.
Each guy, by the way, has 6 dives in this competition. We are in the beginning here now of round 4. This is Gavrilo Blyden of East Carolina, his 4th dive. And he is the 3rd diver in our pecking order this evening.
Look at that spin. Look at that spin. I told you, this guy is an acrobat. Are you dizzy? That was
a little bit.
Amazing. Again.
He's also clearly lived in the gym.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's, again, work on the bottom, clean up the bottom a little bit. But that His rotation is gorgeous.
Really, really good. Devin Nugent now of East Carolina. Inward 1.5 somersault pike. 45.6. Dominic from SMU. You got 3 Mustangs in a row. Backward 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. Good work.
First back twister we've seen. Nice and clean. 6s across the board. Has a little bit of room for improvement, but that was a solid dive. He can work on his finish. Came out just a little bit short.
No, Parker Hardegree. Parker working on a 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist reverse dive.
This is my favorite dive, actually. That was my favorite dive to do.
To your liking?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
All right.
Very, very clean.
53.3 is a nice award. A really good clean entry. All right, Peter Smithson trying a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck.
Ooh. Little close for comfort for you. That was nice. Another great rotation. Little bit close.
Yeah, 67.5 is a darn good score.
Look at that.
Now the Pirate faithful are ready to get behind Rodrigo Romero.
He is a senior majoring in public health. He's from Caraco. Wants to go back home and do something with that degree.
Inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
Woo!
Nails it.
Nails it. That was gorgeous.
And he knows it.
Yeah, I think that's the best dive of the meet so far, right there. Gorgeous entry. Amazing throw at the beginning. What a dive.
Holy smokes. All right, round 5 now. We go back to Dylan Porter, who is sitting at 200.9 as we get started with this round. Porter just a sophomore for the Bearcats. Pretty solid. Degree of difficulty only 2.3, but he hits a good dive.
It was clean.
Satisfactory.
Yeah, it was clean. Safe but clean. And safe for the field. Might not be safe for him, but safe for the field.
Sure. Now you might be able to see some of the flashing in the background here. It appears that the fire alarms are going off, although there's no noise along with it. But perhaps
that's nice. I'm glad.
Perhaps it might be a bit alarming to our contestants.
Well, the good news is it's pouring outside. That might help if there actually is a fire, but we'll hope it's just a false alarm.
You know, Kyle Kennedy is the one that steps off the board here, and I think his whole point is perhaps a bit distracted by the flashing.
Oh, we've got sirens.
And the siren comes on. Well, this might be a first in the American Athletic Conference Swim Championships for a little while. We are apparently in a fire drill delay.
You can see the guys are a little frustrated.
Fully drill.
Yeah.
Frankly, I certainly don't want to think that this is truly a real emergency, but when the fire alarm goes off, everybody has to take precautionary measures.
Yep,
So
they are actually, looks like they are rounding people up, and
the folks are being told that they need to
leave the building.
Exit the building as well.
I'm sure we'll be shortly.
Yeah, well, we promise we'll come back as soon as we're allowed to. And we'll continue along with the men's 1 meter diving championship here shortly. We're on diver number 2 of 8 in the A final of the men's 1 meter diving competition. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back here shortly on the American Digital Network. Yes, I do. Sounds good. Love it. Love it. Are we coming back on camera or no? Okay. Sounds good. All right. Cool. Copy. Welcome back to the University of Houston after perhaps one of the more bizarre breaks and unanticipated breaks in a while. Thankfully, the good news is everything's okay. It was just a false alarm for the fire alarm. And everybody is getting back and warmed up again on the diving board, getting ready to go. In the meantime, let's check in with Stephanie Gonzalez, who's standing by with one of the Bearcat captains.
All right, guys, I'm here with Parker, one of the Cincinnati captains. And Parker, one of the first things I asked your team was like, hey, who wants to chat? Who's fun? They all yelled, Parker. So talk to us about what just happened. What are your thoughts?
Well, we're cheering for our guy Dylan, who's over here ripping it on the board. So we just... a whole bunch of lights started flashing. We thought, maybe he's a little bit too on fire. He's hot, so, hopefully he can keep it going the next half. So.
Right. So how do you think everything's going so far?
Everything's going pretty well as a team. We're we're energetic, we're ready to swim and ready to dive. So.
And what I love, too, is you guys are loud.
Yeah, we like to be loud. we want to make sure everyone knows where we are. Everyone wants to know who Cincinnati is. So
do you really think that everything's bigger in Texas now that we had a fire drill in the middle of the competition?
I guess so. It just happens when you come down here. It hasn't happened before to me, so first time for everything.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Back to you guys.
Well, I'm glad that they're at least able to keep the situation light, right? That's why the fire alarms went off, because he was over there ripping dives and on fire. Okay, fair enough. I get behind that idea. Hey, whatever it takes to mentally keep your team locked in and realize that, look, it's going to be a good day for sure, but you have to figure out a way at some point to just put things behind you that you can't control and let it rip.
Sure. I mean, Parker Hardigree has been absolutely on fire. I thought he might have actually caused the fire alarm if it would have been any of these divers. You see him actually just now in that shot. He's practicing. I just saw him do a reverse twister. I assume that's going to be his next dive. It was phenomenal. I mean, it was a 9 dive. So I can't wait to see it. These divers are really, really impressive, but SMU is impressing me right now on the boards the most. They've
certainly got 3 of the 4 best divers right now in the competition, but everybody's chasing East Carolina.
Yep. You've got Rodrigo Romero, and he's a spitfire. He is somebody who, when we talk to Coach, he is a workhorse. They can't get him to leave the pool. It's one of those things where he is constantly wanting to improve, watching film, seeing everything that he can do better, and you love to hear stories like that because obviously it's paying off for him right now.
Well, you love when guys and when gals want to work as hard as they do, because then you're probably in for good success throughout the course of the year. Let's take a look back at the schedule so you have an idea what's coming up here this evening. We are currently in the very first event of the evening and only in the very beginning of round 5. But we will have the women 3-meter diving competition as well, and we'll get in the pool for some relay races, 800-yard freestyle relay, and the 200 medley relay as well.
Another Mustang will be leading the pack for that women's 3-meter diving. Joanna Holloway, she scored 299.80 in prelims, and she's just a sophomore for them. Again, I can't stress enough how impressive the SMU diving team is, and how well, I mean, the next few years for them is going to be, they're definitely a program to watch. They are on the rise. They've always had a great program, but right now they've got some divers that can really make some headway in NCAAs.
Last year's champion was a UConn Husky, Monica Marcello, on the women's 3-meter board. So find out if the Mustangs can bring home the 3-meter championship here this year. Look at SMU trying to stay loose over along the way, and we do occasionally have some shots of guys and gals in the pool trying to get their blood moving again. I think we're getting close to being ready to continue on the board.
Yeah, there's Kyle Kennedy, who we left off with right when the alarm started going off. You see him chomping on that gum, and I wonder if that's just something that, is something that he's comfortable with doing, but I could never compete with gum in my mouth. And I also had coaches that would never allow us to compete with gum in our mouth. So yeah. I wonder if that's just, something that he's always done. Maybe he just popped in his mouth because he's frustrated that fire alarm just ruined his dive. But
nervous habit.
It could also be a good thing, though.
Sure.
If things aren't going exactly the way that you want them to, and I know he was having a little bit of trouble hitting the end of the board consistently, it could be a nice time to reset.
When you were diving at the University of Arkansas, even if it wasn't this specific scenario, did you ever go through anything like this?
Never. No. Well, the closest, and I told you about this earlier, was when my meet basically ended because I did the wrong dive. I did it out of order and got zeros, and my coach was like, nope, you're done. Like, you're not going to play, so you're
right.
done. And he was so mad that I made that screw up. So it happens. That was the closest thing for me. But no, never have any stoppages like that. I was also in track and field. I was a pole vaulter. We had stoppages a lot, whether
Sure.
it was usually it would be rain delay, or every once in a while there could be something wrong with the pit or the standards or things of that nature. Really frustrating because you sit down and then you get back up to warm up and you sit down again, you get back up to warm up. Just that constant back and forth can be really, really draining.
So how do you try to recenter yourself in that moment where you can't control what's going on, but you've got to get yourself back and ready to compete again?
Focus on what you can control. Focus on the next dive ahead. And the key things that you work on in practice. What is going to make me consistent at this dive? Focus on those intangibles that only you can control.
Well, we take a look at some of the dives so far here that we've seen in these first couple rounds. I know there's been a couple that have really stood out to you. Rodrigo Romero from East Carolina leading the pack right now, 234.3 through his first 4 rounds. He's the pace setter.
Yeah, he's looking really good. We've seen a lot of really nice, clean dives. Honestly, not many misses. No one's been far off the mark today.
Our high score was right around 69.7, perhaps. It was something in that ballpark. We've had a couple in the 60s, not many. And lots of total awards in the 50s. Kyle Kennedy continues to wait for his opportunity.
Yeah, these guys are ready to go.
I would imagine that on top of the fact that they're chomping at the bit and ready to go, I wonder if perhaps some of the holdup is with the official scoring or with judges. They have to be ready too.
I'm sure they're making sure of what number dive they left off on.
Exactly.
What diver do we leave off on? And while the athletes know, okay, we know our order, we know where we're at. Okay, we've got to officially get this on paper, make sure it's all cross our T's, dot our I's, all of that jazz. So,
what a way to start day one, huh?
yeah.
Very first event on day one of the 2020 championships. I don't think any of us will ever quite forget tonight.
But ECU is really rallying around. You can see them all on the opposite side of the 1 meter boards. I mean, they've got cheer chants going right now there.
Just beyond your,
Like in the
almost at the
Camaraderie
edge of
state.
your picture there, you could kind of see the meet office there. They call it the den down there on the pool deck side.
These teams battling back and forth. Who's gonna give the better cheer?
Any way to stay loose, right?
But honestly, that's diving is that portion of the meet where the rest of the team comes over and really rallies and gets to, because during the rest of the meet, I mean, swimmers are either warming up, they're cooling down, they're getting ready for their races. There's all this commotion going on. Diving is really the only time of the meet where, okay, we're stopping, it's diving, let's get the team actually centered.
Right.
And it's kind of a nice portion of the meet because the team can actually collaborate and get together and, actually feel like it's a combined team sport.
How much advantage do you think it gives the University of Houston of being at home? And try to take out the idea of they're sleeping in their own beds.
Sure.
They're going through their normal student-athlete daily routines. But the fact that they're competing in front of probably a larger crowd than everyone else.
I wouldn't put it necessarily in the crowd terms because I never knew, honestly, a swimmer at the collegiate level unless it was, NCs or a huge meet that just thrived on the crowd. It's just not one of those sports. But I would say that it's a big differentiator just because this is their pool. They're comfortable with it. They have a routine here. I mean, they're here every day practicing, and more so because of the routine that they have established. They know what's it going to take for them to be successful here, whereas others aren't as comfortable in this pool. So I would say the comfort level is probably way up for Houston.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the Houston heavyweights, if you will. Serena Brown didn't lose a race last year. Laura Latterout, 6 gold medals last year. Peyton Condis is having a fantastic senior season. We might not see them much today in the idea that there's only a couple of relay races, but boy, if Houston's going to win this week, you have to think that at least in some capacity, a lot of those points are going to be scored by those 3 young women.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really senior dominated. Those are the first 3 girls, actually, that were recruited by head coach Chris Wakamerka, and he brought them into the program, and they've been just so dominant. And it's really nice to see their veteran leadership paying off. And, I mean, they're looking to four-peat, and honestly, they are right now head and shoulders above everybody else in the conference. To be able to maintain that dominance for 4 years straight is super impressive. So,
and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon, even though those are certainly 3 young women that have been part of a lot of this run here. They've never lost in their time at the University of Houston. We are finally ready to continue. How about that? So this is round 5. Diver number 2, Kyle Kennedy. All right, we're going to look there at Serena Brown as she's getting loose. Kyle Kennedy's first dive is 44.4 as we get things rolling again. Gavrilo Blyden, East Carolina, his 5th of 6 dives. He's about 100 points right now behind his teammate and our competition leader Rodrigo Romero.
Gavrillo actually scored a personal best in the prelims. He's having a pretty good day. Yeah, he left that one a little bit short, but gosh, I'm still so impressed by how quick this guy can spin. He is just such an acrobat.
Well, and with the 3.1 degree of difficulty, he gets a 51.15. Looking now at Devin Nugent from East Carolina. 1.5 somersault, 2 twist. Oh, yeah. 52.0. Couple sevens on the board.
Yeah, he's happy with that one. Squared up really nicely.
Dominic Hofer, first of 3 straight Mustangs to dive.
He squared up really nicely as well.
Slightly less difficult, 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, but nailed it.
Clean. Just a very, very beautiful, clean dive. Came around, opened his arm perfectly, squared out. Just a nice, clean dive.
52.0. Parker Hardigree coming up. Parker, the defending champion. He's got a lot in the tank. This is a tough dive, 3.0. Reverse, 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist.
This is the one I saw him do in warm-up just a few minutes ago. It wasn't as good as the one in warm-up, but it was still pretty darn good.
58.5 is a nice score.
That's a difficult dive. Misses it just on the square a little bit.
Peter Smithson now. He'll attempt an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 3.1.
Wow.
Big kick, but a heck of a lot of rotation.
Yeah, he threw so well on that. Just missed the entry just slightly. But God, what a great takeoff.
And now to our leader, Rodrigo Romero. Romero 234.3 through his first 4 rounds, which is a terrific score.
He represented the Mexican junior national team at the Central American and Caribbean Youth Games last year. Has some great international experience. Wow. That was very beautiful.
Easy to see why.
His distance from the board was perfect, and his entry was super clean. Wow. That was a gorgeous dive. That might be the best today.
Well, it's certainly up there. 52.0 as we start our 6th and final round. Dylan Porter from Cincinnati. 1.5, or I should say 2.5. Backward 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. .0. High score there, 6.5. Back to Kyle Kennedy. Backward, 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. Same dive we just saw. Great work from Kyle. 6s across the board with a 6.5. Give him 45.0.
Yeah, as a senior, knowing this is your last conference meet, it's a nice dive to go out on.
Absolutely. Now Gavrillo. He needs a big one here if he's going to find himself on the podium. But it's not totally out of the question.
Great top. Really, really good top again. Can tighten up just a bit on the entry, but he had a very good day.
Blyden moves into third in the meantime. Now Nugent. Devin Nugent from East Carolina. 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, back dive.
Left it a little short. There's a little push back from the board.
A fair total award, 44.95.
But he improved on from his performance earlier today, so I think he'll be pretty happy.
It was a 239 earlier. I beg your pardon. It was at 273 earlier.
Wow.
Good work from Dominic.
I can't wait to see what he does. I mean, both of the freshmen from SMU have performed phenomenally. He'll finish the day at 3:01.
Will it be enough to get him all conference? We'll find out. Parker Hardigree wants to have something to say about that. Parker at 276.55 right now.
Wow.
Pretty tight to the board, but outstanding rotation.
Yep, he trails Rodrigo Romero by 15 points. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get him the lead.
He's at 332.
He's got it right now.
2 dives remaining. Peter Smithson from SMU.
What a
my
top.
Goodness.
What a top.
Forward
dive.
3.5 somersault tuck.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
60.0.
Holy cow. That was beautiful.
He moves to 332 points. It comes down to the final dive, as you'd hope. Rodrigo Romero. He'll attempt a reverse 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist.
We'll need 46 points to secure that first place.
Trying to bring home a title to the Pirates.
Whew.
That should be good enough.
That should definitely be good enough.
And the award is 55.9. Rodrigo Romero from East Carolina, your 2020 champion.
Just a gorgeous dive to end on.
The first Pirate in the history of the American Athletic Conference to win the men's 1-meter diving competition. In fact, he's the first non-SMU Mustang to win it. And Romero stands atop the podium. So congratulations to Rodrigo Romero and to East Carolina Coach Jabs. We'll take a little time out here, at least up top, and we'll head down to the podium shortly. We'll have our first diving awards presentation, and then we'll get rolling with the 800-yard freestyle relay. That's coming up shortly here on the American Digital Network. Okay, so we're clear. SMU kids, Peter Okay.
All right, congratulations. What a win. Talk to us about tonight.
I mean, it's crazy. It's my first year as a freshman here. I've been working hard, and I want to thank my parents because without them, I wouldn't be here, actually. I have a great team, great support, and it's awesome.
And were you happy with the number, with the time?
Yeah, I'm very happy. But
And what's something that you're soaking in from this championship?
I mean, we always, even if you don't win, you always win experience. So the experience and the moment, I'm always going to remember that.
You did great. You're so much fun to watch. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Congratulations to Rodrigo Romero, first champion here at this weekend's competition. And East Carolina takes home gold for the first time.
First diving champion for ECU, and he's only a freshman. He will be a very fun one to keep an eye out on for the next 3 years of his career.
In the meantime, here come our swimmers in the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. At this point, we are still hoping that we will be able to tell you exactly who is swimming from each of the teams, but we have not gotten the heat sheet quite yet with our individual contestants here. We certainly know which teams are swimming in which lanes.
You know, coaches like to hold out until the last minute to
That's
decide,
right.
you know, who's going to actually participate in these relays, but I'm pretty sure they're all locked in now.
Going to look there at
We just haven't gotten the memo.
which teams are in which spots. Our reigning champion in the women's 800-yard freestyle relay is the Houston Cougars. Kenzie Leahy swam leadoff last year. Zarina Brown swam the anchor leg. Get a look there at the Cincinnati Bearcats. They'll be in lane 5. All right, they take the blocks. Tulane in 2, SMU in 3. Houston Cougars, a top seed time 7:07:53. They're in lane 4. Cincinnati in lane 5, East Carolina lane 6, and the UConn Huskies are up top in lane 7. Well, when it comes to an 800-yard freestyle relay, obviously it's not a full-out, all-go sprint. You got to have a little bit of pace with it, but still a 200 is considered a sprint. This is the longest of the relay races that we'll see all weekend. I know the Houston Cougars like their sprinters, and we've touched on a few of them along the way. So far, so good for Houston in lane 4. In this short course, it's 50 yards down and back. So you'll see each of these 4 swimmers go down and back 4 times.
Cougars already have a really dominant lead.
They had a good split at 26.01. Houston and SMU racing next to each other, trying to cheer each other on. 26.93 is also solid. It's the second fastest, I should say the fastest split on that last 50. Looks like Zarina Brown will swim the second leg for Houston. And Brown's in the pool with a lead. 1:44.90 the first leg for Houston. And second place was a good 3 seconds behind Tulane right now. Second place in the pool up in lane 2. So the Houston Cougars trying to start things on the right foot here in their home pool. Right now, Tulane giving them the closest chase. UConn hanging tough as well.
Serena Brown out front. Last year at this meet, she had 7 medals, 7 gold medals, 7 for 7.
Unstoppable.
Doesn't
4
get much
relays.
better. 3 individuals.
Relays and 3 individuals. And frankly, I thought her best relay was the 400-yard medley relay where she shaved off 2 seconds on Friday night and came back and stole one for Houston. That was the moment of the meet, in my opinion, last year in Indianapolis. It has to be one of the highlights of her career. Cougars are well out front of the field. Not only are they out front, but they continue to lengthen their lead. Seems like every one of their splits has gotten better and better, comparatively speaking. Nobody's making up any ground. East Carolina in lane 6, perhaps trying to give them the best race. We're halfway through. Leg 3 underway. Houston setting the pace in lane 4. Cougars still doing their thing. It looks like Zarina Brown's actually swimming the anchor leg of the 800, so she'll be in next, not as the second leg.
I was going to say, we don't have heat sheets, but I was confused why she'd be the second leg and not the anchor when she's clearly the one to bring it home.
Well, she is certainly the best closer in the conference. I don't think anybody would doubt that. Well, the ECU faithful certainly like the effort here from East Carolina in lane 6. Pirates are up in the top of the screen, even though the graphic would indicate that they were coming from the top down. The lanes count up from the bottom of the pool, so lane 6 is actually the third from the top of the screen there, but good work from the Pirates.
Just a little over a second and a half behind Houston, so they were really able to close the gap there, that third leg.
East Carolina certainly is a program on the rise. They feel like they're making some good progress. Last year in the 800 freestyle relay, ECU finished dead last on the women's side. They would love it if they could get the meet started with a second or third place finish.
You see Zarina Brown just started to pull away, though.
All right, we do have our hands on a heat sheet here. This is the fourth and final leg. For Tulane, Isabel Pelka. For SMU, it's Madison Kinsey. Zarina Brown swimming for Houston. Sydney St. Rose Finier for Cincinnati. Laura Benkova from East Carolina, and Megan Wenman swimming for UConn. Well, Zarina Brown is so far out in front of the rest of the field. 7:06:29 for Houston. 7:06:29 is a new championship meet record.
New school record for Houston. They just broke all of their records with that one.
7:06:29. Terrific. So it's Houston, then East Carolina, then Tulane. How about the difference for East Carolina this year, second year now, or I should say after having finished in last place last year, to turn around and come in as a runner-up. Hard to do better than that.
Absolutely. You know, when I was talking to Coach Jabs just yesterday, he was telling me that their men's program is very, very successful. Took a second place finish this last year, and it is probably going to be the closest to contend Cincinnati this year. And they are a combined program, and training with the men has really helped the women improve on their level. It pushes them every single day, pushes their times to be faster. We're seeing the results of it here.
So Mackenzie Leahy, Samantha Medlin, Monique Ray, and Zarina Brown set the Houston program record in the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. They're just off of a NCAA beat cut, but it is a school record and a championship meet record, 7:06:29. In the meantime, the men's 800-yard freestyle relay is coming up shortly as you continue to look at some highlights there from that first race. Love the spirit and energy from East Carolina. Those are some pretty happy Cougars.
It doesn't get much better when you've got a senior group, veteran leadership. You've been together with the head coach coming in, and you've been able to secure golds the last 3 years. It's impressive what they've been able to do. I can imagine they've become pretty darn close as seniors together.
Time for the men's 800-yard freestyle relay. All right. Cincinnati will be in lane 3, UConn Huskies in lane 4, SMU in lane 5, and East Carolina swimming in lane 6. Dean Selmanovich leads it off for Cincinnati. He was the champion last year in the 1650. Josh Roblewski swimming for UConn. Colin Feary leads off for SMU, and Merrick Osina will get it rolling for East Carolina. Osina was a conference champion in the 200 last year. Our championship meet record was set by the Louisville Cardinals back in 2014. These groups have to break 6:21.85 if they want to qualify for the NCAA championships, which means they would all have to take pretty significant time off their seed times. Selmanovich for Cincinnati, Roblewski for the Huskies, Feary for the Mustangs, and Osina swimming in lane 6 for East Carolina. Selmanovich in a pretty good place so far. He's got Cincinnati just half a beat out front. Good underwater work from Dean. So far, so good for the Bearcats. Last year, Cincinnati won this championship. Selmanovich swam the anchor leg. Justin Crew, Alexander Fortman, Tobias Van Dyke, and Selmanovich were your championship four. Last year it was East Carolina, then SMU, then UConn, rounding out the rest of the field. Selmanovich has opened up almost a full body length lead here.
Pretty tight race so far.
Selmanovich touches first, and the Cincinnati Bearcats lead the way 25% of the way through. Marat Sagdaleev swimming now for Cincinnati. Alfred Hansen in lane 2 for UConn. It's Daniel Forndle for SMU in lane 3. James Ward, I should say in lane 5 for SMU. James Ward is in lane 6 for East Carolina.
He's a sophomore from all the way from Melbourne, Australia.
Cincinnati, then SMU, then ECU, then UConn so far in the pool. Although admittedly things are going quite well here for the UConn Huskies. UConn touches first there. Well, after Selmanovic had given Cincinnati a sizable lead after one, Sugdaleyev is struggling a little bit in lane 3. SMU with Daniel Forndle as the pace setter right now. Leg 3 guys are on the blocks. SMU has a huge lead after 50% of the race. Then it's Cincinnati. Now swimming for the Bearcats in lane 3. Michael Balseric. For UConn in lane 4, Carl Bishop. He's fallen back a good ways. SMU with Matan Segal setting the pace. That's Grega Popovich in lane 6 for East Carolina. Get a look there at Wyatt Crunk from SMU, who will swing the anchor leg and try to bring home a title for the Mustangs. SMU had a pretty good lead after 50% of this race, but give Balseric some serious credit. He's doing some serious catching up down in lane 3. Look at Cincinnati. 150 down, 50 to go in the third leg. And it's neck and neck between the Cincinnati Bearcats and the SMU Mustangs.
Segal still has the lead, just barely. Senior from Israel actually transferred in from Eastern Michigan. Took 4th in the 200 back last year and 5th in the 100 back. Now looking to help his team out in the free.
Cincinnati back out front. Whew. What a closing stretch by Balseric. Now in the pool for the Bearcats, Alexander Fortman. For for SMU, it's Wyatt Crunk. East Carolina has Blas Demsar. And for the UConn Huskies, Emil's Gustav Quantas.
Alex Fortman, one of the seniors that Coach Thomas DeSalle said that she really relies heavily on to try and bring them back to gold this year.
Well, Fortman was on the championship winning team a year ago. Last year brought it in the second leg. Put the Bearcats in a good spot. Everybody's getting behind their respective teams and the race is tightening. Look at the work from Blas Demsar. East Carolina is making this race exceptionally close. Cincinnati on the bottom of your screen. Then it's UConn in lane 4 trying to keep pace. It's becoming a 3-team event. Cincinnati, SMU, and East Carolina. Cincinnati's got a brief lead. SMU keeping it tight. East Carolina close by. The Bearcats extend and they touch first.
Wow.
Cincinnati 625-94. They are your champions. What a swim.
What a way to close the race. Heck of an anchor leg.
Well, some serious excitement from the Bearcats, who break out a terrific third and fourth leg after things had fallen back a bit there in the second portion of the race. And give some credit too to SMU. They swam a good consistent race and finished just about a full second behind. East Carolina was just outtouched by the Mustangs, and the Huskies came in fourth. Well, we get a look at the highlights of this race. Obviously got off to a pretty good start in the middle of the pool from the Mustangs. Certainly that second leg, Kristen, I thought they performed pretty well, but in the end it wasn't quite enough.
Not quite enough. They did have a great lead, but ECU really closed it out. Cincinnati started to close it out. Right there at the anchor leg, Cincinnati takes it away. But I loved seeing the strength from both the Bearcats and the Pirates in that third and fourth leg of the race.
Well, lots of credit goes to the top couple swimmers for SMU, Colin Fury and Daniel Forndle. They put the Mustangs in as good a position as they could have been. And at the end, it only came down to a second difference. We got the kind of race we were hoping and expecting. And so we have repeat champions in both the women's and men's 800-yard freestyle relay.
Really good to see them shave 10 seconds off of their prelim time. That's significant.
The Bearcats celebrating a championship. All right, we'll step aside briefly while we go down to the podium for the women's 800-yard freestyle relay podium ceremony. Hey, Carl, I need a little bit more communication back and forth with you, buddy. I need you to let me know when I'm clear, let me know when I'm going to come back, etc. Carl, can you not hear me, buddy? Okay, I need a little bit more communication back and forth here to.
That's right. All right, congratulations, huge win, and you did it at home. How are y'all feeling?
Honestly, great. Like, we swim in this pool every day. It's just good to win here.
And also, you did it again. So how exciting is it?
It's amazing, you know. It was really a struggle my freshman year. We ended up getting fourth, so barely outside of the finish in the podium. So I'm just really glad to be up on the podium again with my teammates. So
I'm sure you have family and friends here.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're cheering pretty loud.
Yeah, mine are from Australia, so they came all this way. So I'm very, very grateful for them.
They came all the way here to see this.
Yeah,
It was worth the trip.
Oh, very much. Well, for them, hopefully.
Well, congratulations. I love also your reaction when you won. The cheering was just, you can't write that, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Back to you guys.
Congratulations to the Houston Cougars as they repeat atop the championship podium here in 2020, and they do it in record style. In fact, they broke their the record they set 2 years ago with 3 of those same 4 young women on that record relay from 2018.
Pretty special for Monique Ray's parents to be here from Australia to see that win. I'm sure they're very excited. Definitely
cool.
worth the travel for them.
Awfully cool. All right, now for the championship podium presentation for the men's 800-yard freestyle relay, where the Cincinnati Bearcats grab the first championship of the weekend.
How exciting is it?
It's the best feeling in the world, you know, training with these guys each and every day. For my senior year, it's such a great feel. We were at this pool, we came in 4th, and so to come back, it feels so full circle to win and do it with these guys, so I'm excited.
And are you tired?
No, we still got 3 more days. We can't be tired yet.
Just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
And something I love about your team, you guys are loud. So is that how you usually are? You kind of just save it for the championships?
Yeah, we're like one family, so everyone support each other. That's how it works with now.
And how are you feeling?
I'm exhausted. I want to warm down.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Back to you.
Can't be tired yet. It's the first race of the first day of the week.
No way, and it's going exactly the way that they planned it and that they wanted it.
No doubt about it.
Cincinnati looking again for their 3rd straight American Athletic Championship gold victory for the team title, and doing pretty well, starting off with 800 free title.
Well, last year the Bearcats as a team brought home 10 gold medals, including 6 on the final day of the competition. But we did mention, obviously, they won that Won that first race of the weekend last year as well, and certainly that'll get them off to a pretty good start. All right, our next competition will be on the women's 3-meter diving board. We are halfway through day 1, and if you joined us late and you're thinking, gee, it's already 6:40 local time in Houston, why is it taking so long? We did have a good 30-minute break for an unanticipated fire drill.
Just a false alarm.
Yeah, just a false alarm, but fire alarm did go off. Everybody had to clear away out of the natatorium, and by the time the warm-ups were complete for the student athletes, took a little while. Got our first dive here over on the board with the women now ready to go. That was Taylor Olhauser from SMU that started us off. Here is Jolie Blodgett from the University of Houston. A forward 2.5 somersault pike.
Great open up, great entry.
Blodgett, 51.6. That's a great score for her.
Just a sophomore. She's someone they're really excited about.
Now Nicole Stambo, freshman from SMU. Scored 280.4 in prelims to get here this evening. Starts with a 2.5 somersault pike. Nice going.
Couldn't quite find the end of the board on that hurdle. She was a bit back, but managed to work her way around pretty well. Find her head at vertical with that entry.
Here's Claire Schuerman. Cincinnati Bearcat Claire Schuerman was a conference champion a year ago. Great start. You know what? I beg your pardon. She did not win this event last year. Monica Marcello did, but she was all conference.
Year before.
The Bearcat. She was 2 years ago the conference champion.
Year before.
I want to take credit away from Monica there.
I was going to say, was that last year or was that the year before? I'm getting old. I can't remember.
All right. Cougars back at it. This is Lauren Burrell from UH.
Great start to the dive. Really nice top, but just came out a bit late. We'll see her go over.
39.6. Kind of a tough start for her. All right. Catherine Crown now from SMU. Hard to believe she's in her junior season. We kind of anticipate that this could be a really, really good competition between Crown, Katie Denninger, and Joanna Holloway. They all legitimately could win the title.
Yeah, Katie Crown won gold last year in 1 meter. Took 4th on 3 meter. Nice start for her. We are actually from the same
51.6.
hometown of South Lake, Texas.
All right.
Very nice diving program.
I'll take that as no rooting interest at all.
Well, I didn't dive in high school,
All right.
so
Fair enough.
bias.
Katie Denninger from the University of Houston. Forward 2.5 somersault pike. Beautiful.
Really similar to her teammate, actually, to Lauren. She was slightly back on the board in that hurdle, but managed to work the dive around and get on top of her head at vertical pretty nicely.
And it brings us to Joanna Holloway. 2.4 degree of difficulty. Forward 2.5 somersault pike to open up her competition. A little bit of a kick, but otherwise a decent start. 46.8. That won't hurt.
I can tell coming out of the pool, she's not happy with it. She knows she could have hit that entry a little bit cleaner.
We start round 2. Taylor from SMU. Backward 2.5 somersault tuck on the way.
Very nice, very clean. Good entry. Solid dive.
58.8. Really good from Olhauser. Now Jolie. Forward 3.5 somersault tuck.
Comes up a little bit short. This is a very, very difficult dive, high degree of difficulty. Again, she was a little bit back on the board in her hurdle. Didn't get quite the start that she wanted, but managed to work it around pretty good. A little bit short.
Because the degree of difficulty was so high, still plenty respectable on the score. Time for Nicole from SMU. 2.5 somersault, 1 twist.
Very nice.
Good work.
She went after that one.
58.5. All right, Claire from Cincinnati. Forward 2.5 somersault pike is what she's got dialed up, 2.4.
What a beautiful start to the dive. Just perfect distance away from the board. Great high takeoff. Misses the entry just slightly, but just slightly. Great, great start to the dive.
So far, things are shaping up nicely. Lauren from Houston. Forward 3.5 somersault tuck, 2.8.
Wow. That's 2 other divers to go after that dive. I love the effort of going after this dive because it's a difficult one. You'll see a lot of girls do 2.5 pikes rather than 3.5 tuck, and she really hit that one well. Probably, again, something to be tested for, being the comfort level of this is their pool. They're comfortable on these boards.
Catherine from SMU. Backward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8. Good work.
Nice dive. Really nice dive. Clean. It looked comfortable. She was confident she could reach a little bit higher in her takeoff. See her arms bent just slightly.
Satisfactory in the judges' eyes. Katie now, representing Houston. Backward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8.
Wow. Great rotation on that. She just could have kicked out a tiny bit earlier. See, she just fell over a little bit. That's why she got that splash. Just kick out a little bit sooner, and that dive will be 7.5.
Well, big dive coming for Joanna Holloway here. After 46.8 on her first dive, she probably wasn't thrilled with it. There's a backward 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist coming, 2.4. That'll get her back in it. 46.8. How'd you see it?
It's a really clean dive. She can work a little bit on her transition when she squares off. You'll see right here, it's just a little bit of a hiccup. It's forced, but really nice, clean dive for a pretty high degree of difficulty.
Back to Taylor, starting round 3.
Great top of the dive. She had some really nice height, good rotation. Kicks out just slightly late.
Jolie from Houston. Backward 2.5 somersault tuck on the way as you get a look at Taylor's dive. 2.8 here for Jolie. Seen this dive a couple of times already.
Great start to the dive. She reaches really well, gets rotation going early. Looked to me like she was going to be short, like she kicked out a little too early, but she pulled it out and got that dive to End up vertical.
47.6. Nicole from SMU, inward 2.5 somersault pike. Round of applause. And a solid
throw.
award.
Yeah, very solid throw. That's a dive you can tell she's comfortable doing. She's great form in her pike. I mean, you can just tell she's flat. Knees against her. Nose against her knees.
Claire from Cincinnati. Challenging dive coming.
Wow, that was gorgeous. That was out, and you hear the sound. That's a wreck. That was a great dive.
63 for Claire.
Highest score of the night. Look at that entry. Absolutely gorgeous dive. You never know. Reverses are very interesting at pools, and I know she's actually dove here before and had success here in this pool, but on a reverse, you've got to find a spot on the wall, and you got to get comfortable with the lighting. Make sure you're kicking out at the right time, and she did. Whew. That was a gorgeous back 2.5. Tied score, another 63. Both of those dives back-to-back are probably the two best so far that we've seen.
Catherine ready to showcase her third dive. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8.
Great takeoff. Really great takeoff. Too good of a takeoff. Missed her out. Went over just a little bit.
35.0, not what she would like.
Look at that takeoff. Look how high she is. She just kicked out too late.
A big opportunity now for Katie from Houston. Right now Claire from Cincinnati leading the competition.
Just a little bit short. Missed her head just a little bit. A clean dive all around.
6.2. All right, big one coming now from Joanna. And actually, you know what? It's Claire's in second place behind Lauren Burrow. Joanna needs a big dive here.
Woo. And she got one. And she got one. Wow. She went after that. Great reach. Watch her bring her knees up, get that rotation started. Really, really nice start to the dive, and great kick out and finish.
60.2. All right, Lauren in first place, Claire in second place. Seeing good start from Taylor Olhauser. This is round 4.
Clean dive, really nice entry.
She's your new leader for the moment. 45.6 puts her up to 204. Now diving Jolie from Houston. First 2.5 somersault tuck. This has become a popular dive in this competition.
Yeah, as far as reverses go, I mean, you don't see a lot of. I mean, this is a pretty standard. This is pretty much it. If anybody's doing a pike, that degree of difficulty is going way out. Oh. I don't know if she hesitated on her hurdle, if that was normal, but she really pulled that out. Looked like she slowed down just a little bit, had a bit of hesitation there, but.
Well, her score is probably not what she wanted, 46.2. Here's Nicole from SMU. Reverse, 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.9.
Nice dive. Might have been slightly turned. Need just a little bit more on that. She would have come out just a little bit cleaner. Her scores would have probably been half a point higher.
But for the meantime, at least through her first 4 dives, she takes the lead. Claire is hoping that with a good score here, she can find herself back out front. That's good enough. 49.0 to give her 209.95. So a small lead for Claire. Meanwhile, through 3 rounds, Lauren was your leader. 161.4. She's attempting a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8.
That was a gorgeous dive.
Great showing from Lauren Burrell so far.
Really, really good top. She's really patient with that. She didn't rush it. She held on. Watch here, knees come up. Great kick out, slightly late on the kick out.
Lauren out of Liberty High School in Frisco, Texas. Was on the American Athletic Conference All-Academic team last year. Catherine Crown now. Gotta have a big dive here to get her back in this.
Just missed the entry a little bit. Just a little bit over. Again, another dive that she's done where she just attacked it so well at the top that she missed the bottom of the entry point.
Right now it's Lauren Burrell, then Claire Schuerman, then Nicole Stambo on the top of the podium. Approaching the end of the 4th round, 2 more dives here before we flip to round 5. Katie Denninger now from Houston. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
That was very pretty. Very confident in the way she comes out of that dive. It's something you can tell she's comfortable with doing. It's gonna be one of her strong suits.
Joanna Holloway. If she can throw a big one here, she can find herself back in it. Right now, 3rd place is 207 points. She's at 153.8. This is a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8.
It was clean. I don't know if it'll get her there, but it was clean. Close.
4.6. All right, 208.4. So right now Holloway's in 3rd place. And it is the tight race that we anticipated. Taylor Olhauser sitting on 204 points. Is right behind. Start of round 5. This is kind of what you were going back to earlier, where sometimes you hit lower degree of difficulty, but higher scores and a better award.
That's why. Yep. Maybe her inward 2.5 tuck, it just isn't where she wants it, isn't as consistent as she wants it, so she goes back to that 1.5 pike and hits it beautifully.
She's up to 247. Jolie Blodgett from Houston. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.7.
Good dive. Good dive. Just a sophomore.
Still waiting for the total award.
Six and a half.
What's your gut?
I could see it.
Okay. There it is. 52.65. Nice job for Jolie.
Should have told you I'm psychic, but then you would have asked me to predict the rest of the meet.
You don't want to back
Zarina Brown is my answer.
Here's Nicole from SMU.
Wow. What a top. Wow, she really pulled that. That was beautiful. That's a high degree of difficulty. She can do a little bit of work on that entry, but really nice dive.
She takes over first place. For the meantime, Stambo up to 255.45. Just a 4-point lead on Blodgett. Here's Claire Schurman, Cincinnati Bearcat. Ready for a backward 1.5 somersault, 2.5 tuck, 2.8. Okay.
Good twister. Good twister. Feet probably could have been a little bit tighter together. I think they got crossed up just there at the end. They deduct for that. Usually at the entry point, they don't come back together like that, but otherwise it's a pretty clean dive.
Schurman up to 258.95, puts her in first for the moment. Lauren Burrell. She's in a really good spot here. Our leader through 4 rounds. Nails it, absolutely nails it.
Great dive. Yep.
56.7.
You can tell that's a dive she's comfortable with. She hits that dive all day long. Very nice.
Catherine having a kind of a tough day.
That'll be a highlight for her.
It's a good one. 50.4 for Catherine now. Lauren still our leader, followed by Claire Schurman. This is Katie Denninger from the University of Houston. Backward 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.8.
That was the best twister we've seen tonight. That was gorgeous.
Katie Denninger, 54.6. Crowd getting behind Joanna Holloway.
6.5. That, I think her score should have been higher.
Okay.
That should have been 7s. That was a really clean dive. In and out of the twist. Really nice.
Holloway, a chance to get back on the podium here.
Nice little rip at the bottom.
Friends and family like it. The judges respect it. Holloway in 3rd place. Burrell, then Schurman, then Holloway. Heading into our 8th and final, or I should say our 6th and final round, excuse me. Taylor Olhauser from SMU. Sitting on 247.05. She's got a chance here. Has to hit a good one.
Pretty good.
Will it be enough for Olhauser to medal? 297 total. Jolie Blodgett. Blodgett's had a terrific meet so far. Backward 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, 2.4. Heavy splash.
Good dive. She left it short. She just left it short. Didn't come out. Came out a little early.
42.0. Now Nicole Stambo. This is a tight competition. Every point counts, especially here late with such little separation. Nicole starting with 255.45. This is a very difficult dive. Backward 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0.
Big splash, but a really good top to the dive. but unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to be enough for her.
49.5 brings her up to 304.95. Well, the door is open for Claire Schuerman. Dynamite.
That was a gorgeous top of the dive. Misses the bottom just again, just slightly. She can make that rip. She can get an 8 on that dive.
Well, Claire is not able to surpass Stambo. She's exactly 1 point behind her. So at the moment, Stambo is our leader. This was our leader through the first 5 rounds. Lauren Burrell, a senior from the University of Houston.
Well, she'll take the lead with that.
Might she have just won the conference championship with that gorgeous reverse 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twister.
Her entries are just so beautiful. Look how clean this entry is. Spots it perfectly.
Catherine Crown needs a borderline miracle here to get on the podium. Catherine hoping she can at least hit a good dive here at the end of the competition. Mission accomplished.
Good dive. Won't be enough to get her on the medal, but good dive.
43.05. 2 more dives. Katie Denninger. Right now it's Burrell, then Stambo, then Schuerman. Denninger trying to find her way onto the podium. First 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.9. Legs got a little sloppy.
Yep, and she missed that entry. Still a really good score, 52.20.
Well, big DD there certainly helps. That is going to guarantee her a podium spot. She can finish no worse than 3rd place. Joanna Holloway. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Final dive of the night.
Wow. That was a really pretty dive. Good entry, good takeoff. Oh.
Wow, 59.4.
That'll get her 2nd place.
It sure will. Terrific job.
Yeah, she went after that.
So your champion in the 2020 women's 3-meter diving competition from the University of Houston, senior Lauren Burrell out of Frisco, Texas. There's Lauren, all smiles after she realizes she just won her first conference title. And a big hug from her coach. Lauren Burrell comes in first, 325.5 total points. 2nd place finisher was Joanna Holloway, who recovered nicely after a couple of early dives that didn't go her way. And the 3rd place finish this year belongs to Nicole Stambo of SMU. Claire Schuerman by 1 point missed the podium.
Actually, I think 3rd place is actually going to be Katie Denninger. She got 306.90, so 2 medals for the Cougars.
You are right, by 2 points. Yeah, there 3 total points separated 3 divers in 3rd, 4th, and 5th place.
You know, I love the fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divers over 300, and not one of them were over 300 in the prelims. Really stepping up their game for the finals.
Love it. Great to see. So congratulations to Lauren Burrell, Joanna Holloway, and Katie Denninger, who are your champions in the women's 3-meter dive. We'll have the podium presentation coming up shortly on the American Digital Network. backstroke. Butterfly or breaststroke next?
Fly.
Well, congratulations to Lauren Burrell, the conference champion. She's standing by with our own Stephanie Gonzalez.
All right, Lauren, congratulations. How does it feel? I mean, you're a senior. What a way to end your year.
It feels amazing. I wanted to come in and get a medal again like last year. And I was I really wanted the gold, but I was going to be happy with anything, but I just really wanted to do my best, and I did.
You did it, and to do it at home.
It's the greatest feeling. It's just no words, honestly.
And we have to talk about your family. I see Dad up there with big posters and your face and
my face.
And what I love too is I saw Dad just wiping his tears. So this must mean a lot to them and to you.
They really wanted me to do well and be proud of how well I did throughout the year, and that my hard work was worth something, and it really paid off.
It sure did. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're awesome to watch. Tell the family we said hello.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
Congratulations to Stephanie.
To Lauren.
To Lauren. And to Stephanie.
Great interview, Stephanie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
What a way to go out for the senior.
Absolutely. All right, we move to event number 5, the women's 200-yard medley relay. UConn in lane 2, Cincinnati in lane 3. Lane 4, University of Houston. Southern Methodist, I should say SMU in lane 5. Tulane lane 6. ECU in lane 7. Keep your eye here on Laura Latterout in lane 4, swimming for the Houston Cougars, who last year won this championship. Latterout swam the butterfly last year in this event. This year, she's swimming the backstroke. It's Gabrielle Lowe in lane 2 for UConn. Jacqueline Klimchak for Cincinnati in 3. Laura Latterout lane 4 for Houston. Felicia Anderson lane 5 for SMU. Tulane with lane 6, Ashley Carollo. And in lane 7 for ECU, Jody Ogle, a freshman for the Pirates. Latterout got off to a great start in lane 4. At the moment, the Cougars are in good shape. Caitlin Walsh, lane 2 for UConn. Victoria Hunt for Cincinnati in 3. Peyton Condis for Houston in lane 4. She's swimming great here out front. Gabriella Grobler trying to keep pace with her in lane 5 from SMU. Catherine McDonald, lane 6 for Tulane. Lily West for ECU in lane 7. At the moment, it's Condis, who has a brief lead, less than a full body length. The Cougars out front halfway through. Condis extended it with a great breaststroke. I should say with a great breaststroke. Now we move to the butterfly. Linnea Anderson from UConn. Anelia Kutsko for Cincinnati. Katie Higgins for Houston. Erin Traha of the Mustangs. Madison Cummings in lane 6. Shannon Stott in lane 7. Great close here by SMU. Traha gave Higgins a good run for her money. Now it's Leahy and Smith in lanes 4 and 5. What a race. Houston and SMU fighting for a win. Houston barely out front. Samantha Smith trying to keep it tight. Mackenzie Leahy's length, is it enough? It sure is. Houston, for the second straight year, champions in the 200 medley relay.
Wow, what a finish by Mackenzie Leahy. Chris Walkenmerker had one word to describe her, and he told me it was superstar, that she made some of the biggest games this year that he's seen of any of the teammates. She's finally understanding how good she can be. You just saw it right there.
So 2 relay victories for the Houston Cougars. We're going to look here at the recap of the race. Houston Cougars led after each of the legs, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to SMU. Felicia Anderson, Gabriella Grober, Erin Traha, and Samantha Smith made it awfully entertaining. At the end of the day, though, an impressive relay win, especially considering for Houston, Zarina Brown was not on that relay team last year. She won 4 relays out of the 5 in the meet. This was the one she didn't swim, and it didn't cost the Cougars.
Nope. They still were able to pull it out. But you're right, SMU really had a really nice leg of that race. Erin Traha, she's handled this year really, really well. She's been faster in season this year than she has been in the past, and she definitely helped her team to that silver medal.
Time for the men's 200-yard medley relay as the men parade in. UConn in lane 3, ECU lane 4, SMU in lane 5, Cincinnati lane 6. 2 of the best swimmers on the men's side of this weekend's competition, no matter the event, are in lanes 3 and 4 to start us. Will Kiersey, who's already qualified for the Olympic trials for the English national team, he's in lane 3. Merrick Osina, who is a dynamite swimmer for the Pirates, is in lane 4. And into the pool they go. Kiersey closest to you. Expect him to have UConn in a good place early. Coach Rodenbaugh of SMU, his son Caleb, who's also having a terrific season for the Mustangs. He'll swim the second leg for SMU. Merrick Osina gets us going there in lane 4. Some of the best backstrokers in the conference kicking it off, the men's 200 medley relay. 4 swimmers awfully tight at the moment. Looks like Will Kiersey gets to the wall first. UConn by 0.05 out in front of East Carolina. Rowan King, Lubomir Epitrapov, Caleb Rodenbaugh, and Dominic Poling now in the pool. Things are tightening up. East Carolina and SMU in the middle of the pool trying to keep this tight. UConn's given a little bit back here from King. Cincinnati hanging close, almost too close to call. Look at those splits. Cooper Knapp, Gustavo Santos, Ralph Koo, and Michael Balseric now swimming. Balseric with a really good butterfly. He might be able to give Cincinnati a little more leeway here. He stayed underwater a long way. But look at lane 4, Gustavo Santos, one of the best flymen in the country. Final leg, Kyle Dunlap, Pedro Guerreros, Charles Kay, and Dominica Cintas. Freestyling to the finish. The men's 200-yard medley relay champion is lane 4, the East Carolina Pirates. 125.91. It's a new conference record.
And a freshman at the anchor. What a finish.
Great work by the Pirates. ECU last year, little disappointed at 126.19. Even though they had set the conference record, they thought they might have even had more in the tank. This year they go sub 126. Terrific. I think you give ECU a lot of credit because they were steady through all 4 legs of the race.
2 sophomores and a freshman in that group. Good future.
Gustavo Santos, senior.
That'll be a tough one to replace.
He, not only that, I have a feeling he's going to be pretty impactful throughout the course of the weekend as long as he is healthy and swimming at his best.
His suitcase will definitely be heavier, I assume, at the end of this meet.
I sure would think so. So the ECU Pirates, champions in the men's 200-yard medley relay. Saw a couple of conference championship meet records fall. The women's 800-yard freestyle relay, the Houston Cougars set a new American record. And in the men's 200-yard medley relay, we had a meet record there from East Carolina. Podium presentation coming up for the last couple of events, but in general, your thoughts here on day one?
You know, it's going just about as expected, other than that fire alarm. You know, as long as we don't have to do a fire drill, I'm happy so far. But Houston has done really well, as we expected on the women's side. Men's side, again, Cincinnati, ECU in the pool, really battling it out. But I've been really impressed with the diving. Houston has surprised me with the women's diving. They've improved in the last 2 years since I've seen them in person. They have a lot to be happy about and a lot to look forward to with a young group of divers.
SMU on the men's side for sure certainly dove well, but they couldn't get past Rodrigo Romero, the Mexican national who wins the championship in the men's 1 meter diving. The Houston women do their thing in the pool and the relays. Cincinnati wins the 800-yard freestyle relay. The Pirates, for the second straight year, take home the men's 200-yard medley relay. So a good start to the weekend from ECU. They also got off to a good start on the men's side of things last year. This is not a great surprise for them. They'll be in first place, I would think, here after day one with two gold medals. So we'll turn things over to the public address announcer. It's time for our podium presentation for the women's 200-yard medley relay.
Congratulations. Oh my goodness. I mean, are y'all tired?
No. Just excited. Just like adrenaline is still pumping. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think that the 4x50 is really just an adrenaline fun race, so we all get to like see just how fast we can go.
Yeah.
Not extremely tiring, but super fun.
I mean, we were tired just looking at y'all. So talk to us about doing this at home championship. How did you prepare and what was your mentality like knowing that you had this home advantage?
No, I don't know. I think it was really exciting because so Laura and I are seniors and it was here our freshman year. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for us, and this relay is one of my favorites, and I love these girls, and we're just all happy to got to do it together. So
and you can also do it in front of your family and friends too.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Go enjoy, and back to you guys.
Thanks, Stephanie. Congratulations to the Cougars. They've won a couple of relay races here this afternoon, or I guess it's now this evening here in Houston. The whole day's been a fire drill.
We'll be back at it. Back at it tomorrow. We've got the 500 free tomorrow, the 200 IM, the 50 free, women's 1 meter diving, 200 free relay tomorrow.
It'll be a fun afternoon tomorrow, especially in, I think, in the two IM and the 50 free. Could see some really good races there.
50 free is one of my favorites.
Oh.
Blink and you miss it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Easy to love. Back down to the podium. This is the podium presentation for the men's 200-yard medley relay. Okay.
All right, huge congratulations. So exciting. And I also see a lot of purple in the stands. So a lot of friends and family were able to see this.
It's good to have family here. They support a lot, and it's good to for confidence and everything. Yeah.
So how did y'all prepare coming to the championship?
I don't know. We just practice, and that's it. We set up the momentum for the next few days. Let's see if we can keep it going.
And how excited are you for the upcoming days?
Oh, we're pretty excited. We're looking forward to having nice swims pretty fast.
And this is a pretty good confidence booster.
Yeah, we have really good confidence right now after we win.
Y'all look so calm. I love it. They're just like, yeah, we won. We got it. Exactly. Well, congratulations. And yeah, we'll see you guys. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Well, they certainly are off to a good start, Stephanie. On day one, the East Carolina Pirates have the lead on the men's team side with a champion individually in diving and with that record-setting relay. Great day one for the ECU Pirates, Kristen.
Yeah, they pulled it off, 119. I mean, they got 47 points in 1 meter diving, so killed it there and also in the relay. But, man, SMU with that infraction, that's going to hurt them. I don't know how you recover. Yeah, how do you recover from that?
You really have a hard time as a team winning meets when you DQ on relays, that's for sure. Real quick, the recap of the day. Men's 1 meter diving champion Rodrigo Romero. On the women's 3 meter platform, or I should say 3 meter diving board, your champion Lauren Burrell from Houston. Both Cougar relays on the women's side were victorious. On the men's side, Cincinnati and ECU split victories. On behalf of our entire production crew, for Stephanie Gonzalez and for Kristen Keith, I'm Brendan Gulick. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Prelims 10 a.m. We'll get rolling 6 o'clock local time with our finals. It's all here on the American Digital Network.